he said the Raiders were going to go 6-11 after that first play last game, I literally put money on it. I was like, all right, I bet this son of a bitch is right. I bet this is going to be it.
Oh, my God.
I've lost my touch.
Pat McAfee right there, former punter of Peyton Manning's, saying son of a bitch on ESPN2 during Monday Night Football. Definitely doesn't have money on this game. He said, quote, I needed that not to be a touchdown. This is interesting to see. Daily Sports Podcast, news, narratives, takes, and gambling. Basically just whatever is happening in the world of sports that you need to talk about. We are going to continue to unpack the weekend of football now that the last game of the week and of the summer, because the seasons change, the last game of the week is over. The Packers beat the Lions. I lost money on this game. I had Lions plus 11.5, and it was close. One touchdown away. Underestimated Jared Goff's ability to fumble the football in the rain. As long as it doesn't rain, Jared Goff's a pretty good quarterback. Lions are far away. The Packers, nobody's going to know what to do. The takes today, let's see what the takes will be. The takes are the Packers back, or was it just the Lions? There it is. There, I just analyzed Monday Night Football. Okay, so I want to talk about our top story today, which is this taunting thing. Everybody's super mad about the taunting rule. So taunting has always been a rule in the NFL, and they just kind of haven't enforced it. To me, I do think there's a line at which it needs to be enforced, but what happened this last weekend was egregious and annoying, and so this is what my take is. I think this is a weird class race thing, to be honest. That's my gross gut feeling. We know that John Mara, who inherited the Giants and who is an incredibly annoying owner, said that nobody wants to see that in regards to taunting. So taunting's always been a rule. Now they're like, enforce it. We don't want to see taunting. So Mr. Mara, who was probably drinking tea during the Super Bowl, saw the taunt that caused all of this and got mad and was like, I'm still an owner. Those are players. They will toe the line, which is just annoying. So what happened was, and I love this, taunting in professional sports is the only place that is acceptable in society. I don't want congressmen taunting each other. I want them running the country. But when Tyreek Hill, in week whatever, throws up deuces to a rookie en route to beating that rookie, and then that rookie whoops his ass in the Super Bowl and throws deuces in his face as he's losing, that's what I want. That's America. I want that. I do think that the line in the sand for me is taunting during the play. If you're taunting during the play, I believe that should be a flag and the touchdown shouldn't count because of discipline and hilarity. And yeah, you don't want anybody turning around to taunt. Because I think that's my line in the sand. It just feels right to me. Get in the end zone, rub someone's face in it. Love it. Love it. Don't like me. Don't like it. Stop me. Cam Newton said that in college. He said that in the pros. Like, hey, I'm on the field. You could tackle me if you wanted to. If you tackled me, I'd stop. When he was the MVP, no one could tackle him. The year after that, everybody tackled him. He stopped. That's football. That's life. That's America. So the NFL Players Association put out a statement that they are going to get fussy about this. They don't want to taunt, and things like this can change the workplace, which does. So the workplace, quote unquote, when there's a labor and a management situation, they can't quite strike, but they can make this incredibly annoying for the owner. So I suspect very strongly that this is going to be something that's going to piss them off to the point of the owners losing a little bit of money or at least sleep over it. So the Players Association, yeah, very pissed about that. This is a visual medium. Maybe we'll do a video on it for YouTube, but there's a video of the compilation of all of the taunting penalties. I think all of them, what they don't want is like you make a tackle and you stand up and flex over your opponent. Why? Like, should have caught the ball, dude. I should have got open. I don't know. So there's a video compilation of it. If you want to see it, it'll be in the show notes. The second biggest story today, social media accounts are crushing it. So too big. This has been happening since last year when Atlanta started making fun of themselves for they lost a game again when they were up 28-3. That's a shout out to the Super Bowl, whatever, Super Bowl 51, I think, when they gave up that huge lead to the Patriots. And now social media accounts have kind of let her rip, and I'm completely here for it. So the one that got my attention yesterday, so Jacksonville, I thought that Jacksonville would be an account, the Jacksonville Jaguars would be an account that didn't let it rip. Yesterday, they issued that weird apology statement which had shades of Tim Tebow in college, like, we suck and we're going to get it flipped around. We promise, and it's got them holding locked arm in arm like you do for the national anthem. No one's going to work harder. Like, dude, this is pro football. I don't care. 8-8 is good enough to qualify for the playoff. Like the Giants won a Super Bowl after going 8-8. No one cares. So then The Falcons did the same thing. I gotta fight it. Let me fight it. So they released the exact same thing. It's like it's this gross, this ridiculous thing where it's like got a picture of the boys. And all right, let's read it. I'll bring it up on the screen just because I love you guys. There it is. This is from head coach Arthur Smith. We don't want to be in the spot we're at. That's a reality, but we have 15 more to go. We have to put ourselves in a spot to go win a football game. The Jaguars took enormous hilarity to this. So I thought the Jaguars account were going to be a bunch of losers. I thought that because they unfollowed some of their super fans who were being critical of Urban Meyer, and then they released that just ridiculous statement. But then they did this. So then they quote tweeted that tweet, and it said, "Hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, fam, just switch it up a bit." Like, yes, whoever that person is, you rule. Oh, God. Oh, man, hold on. I'll try to pull over the screen so you can see, make sure it's the Jacksonville account, and so you know I'm not lying to you. There it is. Jaguars, can I copy your homework? I love this, and it's happening more and more. Let's look at the Raiders thing. Here's the Raiders. That's what they posted after they beat Pittsburgh, upset the Steelers, as they were 4-point underdogs on the road in the Steel City. That's some sort of weird video game-looking Raider character just standing in the water between the bridges, holding the steel curtain over his shoulder. And this is what they tweeted. Yins catch that road win. Oh, got him. Got him. Oh, my God. This is great. I love that PR people are losing the battle of Twitter now because just be honest, guys. We have Google. We know what's going on also. We understand what's happening. Make fun of yourselves. Because when you try to deny it, or you don't even poke fun at yourselves, we know you're lying. Everybody knows you're lying. We all have the internet. Just make it fun. This is a television show. It's not a presidential election. It's football. Make it fun. Speaking of not making football fun, let's talk about the Bears. The Chicago Bears, Andy Dalton, looked like he tore his ACL, one of those kind of barely contact knee injuries where it's like, oh, that's kind of tweaky and weird. And he was hobbling around like it was torn, but it wasn't popping out the way that if you've ever seen an ACL tear work when you can bend your knee sideways. Carson Wentz famously there's some videos of Carson Wentz when he tore his ACL doing that. Andy Dalton looked like it was similar to that, but it didn't look like it was bending that way. They got an MRI done. It's not an ACL tear. They're getting more tests done, which means it's not a tear, but they don't know how bad it is. Justin Fields came in, and I thought, everybody's like, just put the kid in. Man, he looked like trash to me. He had a couple throws that receivers dropped, but he also, he threw a pick that was essentially just to a linebacker. He was and it was on his own 10. The linebacker caught it on the Bears 20. He just threw it to his hands, just hey, linebacker, here's the ball. And that led to a Bengals touchdown. The Bears were crushing them, led to a Bengals touchdown, which made the game incredibly hairy. Just an unbelievably stupid mistake. The knock on him is that he's so fast and athletic, like all running quarterbacks that have read 1 and read 2 aren't there. Instead of checking down to read 3 that he'll run, we saw that. And the Bengals defense, and be very frank about this, they suck. Not they have 2 guys that I'm interested in. They have the best, third best safety in football. Forget the guy's name because he's a Bengal. And they have Logan Wilson, who is a second-year linebacker out of Wyoming, which I think is great. He's the guy that made the pick. They suck, though. They're trash. And they made Andy Dalton look better than Justin Fields to me, or at least made it look equal. So if the Bears are trying to say it is not clear at practice who's the better quarterback, that appears to be true. It does appear to be clear who the faster quarterback is, but not who's better. But now all of the Bear fans and everyone's like, you have a rookie, just play the rookie. Bench Andy Dalton, just play the rookie. And by the way, they also have Nick Foles. Forgot about that. They traded for him. God, what a moron. They literally are so good at everything at Chicago except the quarterback. It's hilarious. So now there's oh, here's the regularly scheduled injury. We've seen it with Tyrod Taylor twice in Cleveland. Starter gets hurt, Baker Mayfield comes in. Starter gets hurt, Justin Herbert comes in Los Angeles with the Chargers. And now Andy Dalton, here's your regularly scheduled injury so that the rookie can come in and play. The Bears are like, hey, if he's active, he's playing. So they're just going to piss everybody off. I love their ability to just make the spotlight on themselves. What they're doing, obviously, and everyone will tell you this, they're just trying to maintain normalcy long enough to imply that when they make the switch to Justin Fields at the end of the year, only this coaching staff can figure it out, and please don't fire us. I'm not sure that's going to work. I could, of course, be wrong, but, what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet who has the equipment to make a podcast, and here I am. Talk about Monday Night Football now. We'll wrap it up. The Detroit Lions look really, really well coached with 2 really, really good elite players, a handful of B-plus players, a handful of promising players, and a bunch of C-minus stuff. The Green Bay Packers have, and I picked them to win the Super Bowl in various picks and one bet because they're the only team in the league that I could find that legitimately has perhaps the best or second best player at their position at like 6 or 7 different positions. It's kind of crazy when you look at it. They have dudes on defense, and their dudiest dude didn't even play last night, Zadarius Smith. He may or may not be hurt, and he may or may not be holding in because he wants a new contract. But the Packers, they look great. The difference between this year and last year is when Aaron Rodgers was pissed off last year, he turned it into motivation for himself. When he was pissed off this year, he just didn't show up. He just didn't go to practice, didn't go to camp, and now he's trying to turn it on. What news for you. If the Lions had one defensive end last night, they could rush the passer a couple times and like a little bit more aggressive quarterback, that game goes different. And we saw that because that's what happened with the Saints. The Packers, Bears, Lions, and Vikings have the NFC North has the toughest schedule in football this year, and we're going to see that Packers defense go against teams that can run it a little better than the Lions and that have defenses that have defenses that can go get it. He's got to play Nick Bosa this year. He's got to play Aaron Donald this year. I don't know. I don't think there's anything we can take away from that game except the Lions are in a true rebuild. For Lions fans, they're going to start looking at draft prospects, which is going to be great. Let's talk about some college football coming up this weekend. We'll preview this as it comes around. It's time to start really getting into baseball. The Padres, man, what happened with them? We'll talk about that. I think as October comes around, we'll start talking about the Padres. I think we're at game like one. I think we're at 150, about 10 games left for every team. Big college football games this weekend off the top of my head. There's really only one, but I'm going to Google it just to make sure. College football. This isn't well produced. I don't have a producer. What would my producer's name be? Mickey. No, that didn't work. So the big game this weekend is Notre Dame at Wisconsin. It's a noon kickoff. Yes, thank the Lord. God, what is he doing with these light kickoffs? I hate night games. They're so annoying. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything else that's even remotely interesting at all. UCLA, Stanford, I don't really care about that. Clemson, NC State. Clemson, NC State would be interesting. That seems like the one that Clemson should lose. No one else is really challenging themselves this week. The Jerry World Showdown, Texas A&M and Arkansas. That'll be good. We can get rid of Texas A&M right now. That'd be kind of sweet. But Notre Dame, Wisconsin will be a good one. That's where I believe College Game Day is. It kicks off 11 a.m. local time in Chicago, if that's true. They're playing in Chicago, right? I'm pretty sure they're playing in Chicago. Notre Dame, I guess we'll get into it later when it's time to do our college football pregame show. I'm not sure that Notre Dame has a chance here just because what's happening with Notre Dame is they got this transfer quarterback who could throw the ball, but Tommy Rees has never run an offense for a quarterback who can't run. So then they're like, hey, we have a quarterback on the sideline who can. Let's just do that. Florida did this, and if you want to laugh your ass off, look at some film from the post-Tim Tebow Florida year when they switched out Trey Burton, who's now a tight end in the NFL, and a guy named something Brantley, and it was literally like run with Burton, put Brantley in on 3rd and 7. And that's what Notre Dame is doing. So instead of Tommy Rees having all offseason to fit an offense around a true pocket passer, that's problematic for Notre Dame. Wisconsin's just button up. They are what they are. If they have a schedule of guys that can beat them, they lose. If they have a schedule of guys that they can beat, they win. They're like the most consistent team ever. They have their guys, they run their place. It's very simple. So we'll get into previews as the week rolls along. I think that's going to do it. I have some other football stuff, but we'll save it. Oh yeah, we'll get out of here on this. This is interesting. Aaron Jones' father passed away from COVID-19. Aaron Jones had one of the biggest fantasy weeks a running back has had in years last night. 4 touchdowns, 3 of which were through the air, a couple 190-ish something yards from scrimmage. He had a chain that had some of his father's ashes that he was wearing during the game. And get this, it ripped off because he's playing football, but he lost it in the end zone. He says, that's where my dad would want me to lose it. I can't tell if I moved or creeped out that Aaron Jones' father is forever in the end zone at Lambeau Field. Packers beat the Lions. They cover the spread barely. Jared Goff can hold on to the football as long as it doesn't rain in the NFC North. Jared Goff should be fine. Like, rate, review, subscribe, force people to listen to it. I really appreciate it. I'll be back and better than ever. We'll do some baseball. We got to do some midweek baseball. We got to wrap up some storylines in baseball when I come back tomorrow morning.